While we remain standing, with your permission, Your Excellency, allow me to invite Honorable Aden Haji and Honorable Joyce Bensouda to lead us in a prayer to begin our session.
Let's pray. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahmanir Rahim. Maliki Yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين.
Shall we bow down for a word of prayer? Kind and everlasting Father in heaven, we come upon thee this morning, O Lord. Jehovah, King of glory, we want to offer our committal prayer unto thy able hands. Father in heaven, sinful as we are, we pray to forgive us our sins and receive us as children of Father. Jehovah, King of glory, we want to worship you and thank you for all the miracles, the honors that you've done to this government of Kenya and the Republic of Kenya. Lord, King of glory, we call upon your Holy Spirit to reign and cover our Excellency, Dr. William Samoei Ruto, as he has the mantle, Lord, to lead this country. Jehovah, King of glory, we pray for his good health. Father, we pray for his wisdom as you gave your son Solomon. Lord, King of glory, give him the strength to lead this country. Bless him with his family. Jehovah, King of glory, we want to pray that our founding fathers of this nation left a legacy. Lord, King of glory, the legacy of devolution. Father in heaven, democracy. Father in heaven, inclusivity, transparency, and accountability. We commit our party leader unto thy hands, Dr. Oburu Oginga. Lord, King of glory, as they lead us, Jehovah, King of glory, fill us with the Holy Spirit. In a special way, Lord, we know that we have a date with you, the second Tuesday of August 2027. Lord, King of glory, the enemies are broad-based. I know they're in the darkest corners. They're in the broad daylight. They're fighting the agenda. But Lord, King of glory, we want to pray that let them measure by their own swords. Father in heaven, we want to pray for the MPs, the senators, the governors. You have chosen them to be servants of the people. They are yearning for their second term. Some are yearning for their third term. In all this, they must be servants of the people. In all this, they must lead with transparency. In all this, they must be full of knowledge. Father, destroy all forms of chest thumping and let us be humble before you. Lord, as we deliberate in this meeting, be our chief guest. Lord, on 27th, be the IEBC chairman. Let us win with victory, for we pray, trusting and believing in Jesus' name.
Let us kindly take our seats. With a warm clap, Honorable Aaron Cheriot, karibu uendelee na ratiba yetu ya siku ya leo.
Thank you. Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Kenya, Your Excellency, the Deputy President, the party leader of the ODM party, Dr. Oburu Oginga, Prime Cabinet Secretary, colleague leaders, I beg to greet all of you good morning. Good morning once again. Welcome to Naivasha, and welcome to the first retreat of the broad-based family. I don't think, Your Excellency, we've met like this together before, bringing together the larger broad-based family. And at that very juncture, Your Excellency, I'm sure you noticed as you walked in that we are a bit squeezed in, and we apologize to the membership. But that's the team that you lead, and we must really be grateful to God. This is the envy of our competitors. You know, so for some of our competitors, if they were to call such a meeting, they will not need this hall. The holding room that you used will be enough for them. So we have to be happy and grateful at the same time that we have such a large family that is gathered here. Here, Your Excellency, we have members of parliament from both houses. As of the time of your coming in, we had more than 250 members of the National Assembly that had signed in, and many were coming in. We had over 45 senators that had signed in, and there were quite a number that were coming in. We have the cabinet that is here. We have close to, I think, I'll check the records and announce later, governors and their deputies, quite a significant number as well that had walked in, together with their deputies, some without their deputies as well. So it's a big gathering of a big family, and we welcome all of you to Naivasha. We have been here, Your Excellency, since yesterday. We had our pre-briefing meetings of the various teams. Our colleagues from the ODM family had their parliamentary group meeting last night, the pre. There are certain internal matters that both teams were putting together. We equally from the Kenya Kwanza team, we had our session until late last night, just sharing and talking and doing fellowshipping as well, because we rarely get such occasions. And we had a big team yesterday, and it was quite interesting. The only challenge which we, as we consulted with leadership, we noticed is that a lot of the younger members of parliament, those who are in my age bracket, they either arrived late or they came this morning. And there was a challenge when we inquired. We were told there's a challenge with visa processing to this Naivasha meeting. And the problem, Your Excellency, we have investigated. It began when one of your ministers, who used to be a leader with us in parliament, he wrote a book and said certain things about Naivasha. Since then, to get a visa to come here for younger leaders is not easy. So some of them have arrived late, including the leader of majority in the National Assembly. I think his visa was denied until this morning. So you will bear with us. Your Excellency and the leadership, we have a long program ahead of us. And we want to really take this time to talk as a family, share, give our insights and perspectives into so many other things. If you've looked through your program, we have sessions of opening remarks by our party leadership and the president, then a few presentations, and then eventually the members will have their chance to speak. Then we will move on with the day. So I don't want to be long because we have such a long program ahead of us. I just want to be what good guests should always do, which is to allow the home county governor to welcome us to Nakuru County on behalf of the leadership. Then we will move the program for there. Ladies and gentlemen, a hand of applause to Governor Susan Kihika, the governor of Nakuru County.
Oh, thank you very much. Your Excellency, Honorable Dr. William Samoei Ruto, the President of the Republic of Kenya and the Commander-in-Chief of the Defense Forces, Your Excellency, Honorable Professor Kithure Kindiki, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, Honorable Dr. Oburu Oginga, the party leader of the ODM and the Senator For Siaya, power. Our Prime Cabinet Secretary, our Chair, Council of Governors, the leaders of majority in both the Senate and the National Assembly, the leaders of minority, all the leaders here present, my colleague governors and deputy governors, members of Parliament and Senate, and all the distinguished leaders, ladies and gentlemen. It is my great honor and privilege, Your Excellency, on behalf of the leadership of Nakuru County and the people of Nakuru County, to warmly welcome you to this beautiful county, and in particular to the magnificent shores of Lake Naivasha. Your Excellency, allow me to say that we are very delighted to host this first retreat of the broad-based government, but I also want the members to know that whenever this happens in our county, it's a sign of success that's beaconing. I remember back in 2013, Your Excellency, in Nakuru though, at that time, we hosted the coming together of URP and TNA. And you know, after that, we got into government. In these last concluded elections, Your Excellency, our group, then called Tanga Tanga, we were always here in Naivasha trying to come together, bring our people together, and make sure that we formed the government. And alas, we did. Here we are now today. I believe it's the beginning of something great. It's the coming together of the broad-based coalition. And at that point, let me also recognize my good sisters, the party chairpersons, the chairperson of ODM, Governor Gladys Wanga, and the chairperson, my sister of UDA, Governor Ses Karinda Barire of Embu. So this gathering, Your Excellency, comes at a very important moment to our nation. The broad-based government represents an important opportunity to bring Kenyans together across political divide and to place the interests of the country above partisan considerations. The presence here today of leaders from UDA and ODM, alongside the governors, deputy governors, members of parliament and senators, cabinet secretaries, principal secretaries, is itself a powerful demonstration that Kenya's political leadership can come together in pursuit of a common national agenda. Our unity must not simply be a political arrangement, Your Excellency. It must translate into better lives for our people, more jobs and opportunities for our young people, stronger healthcare and education systems, improved infrastructure, greater investments, and a more prosperous and inclusive economy. As we look ahead, we are also conscious that the political environment, Your Excellency, will become increasingly demanding as we approach. And elections are an important part of our democracy, but they must never become a source of division that undermines the progress we have made as a country. Your Excellency, the period ahead will require maturity, restraint, courage, and a commitment to dialogue. We must be able to compete politically while preserving the bonds that hold our nation together. We must remember that beyond political parties and electoral contests, we remain one Kenya, and our people expect us to put their interests first. This retreat, therefore, comes at exactly the right time. I sincerely hope that our discussions over the coming days will be candid, constructive, and honest. Your Excellency, let us speak openly about the opportunities before us, challenges, and the concerns of the people we represent. Let us listen to one another, challenge ideas, Your Excellency, respectfully, and most importantly, emerge with a clearer sense of purpose and a renewed commitment to serving Kenyans. Your Excellency, the President, distinguished leaders, Nakuru is honored to host you. We hope you will find this retreat both productive and memorable, and that the serenity of Lake Naivasha will provide the right environment for reflection, frank conversation, and consensus building. Once again, on behalf of the people of Nakuru and the Nakuru leadership, karibuni Nakuru. Asante.
Thank you, Governor Susan. I have now gotten the numbers for the governors. I'm told we have 20 governors that have signed in and 20 deputies, while others are on the way. Your Excellency, it's now my humble pleasure to invite a man that does not need a matchstick to light up the place. His Excellency, the Deputy President, Professor Abraham Kithure Kindiki, aka Fireman. Wapi makofi ya Professor?
Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Kenya and Commander-in-Chief of our Defense Forces, William Ruto, Senator Oburu Oginga, the party leader of the ODM party, distinguished colleagues from the executive and the legislature, the broad-based administration, good morning. Your Excellency, my task is simple. I've been asked to MC a very delicate session, which should take us to the completion of the first session of this meeting. But allow me just to say one thing before I invite the speakers of the day to start us off. Just to commend the progress that we've made and to say how I am amazed by what teamwork does. Teamwork makes work light and makes efficiency better. Kwa hivyo nimeshukuru sana, na leo ni siku ya kuzungumza, ya kuelewana na kuona mahali tumefika na vile tunaendelea tukisonga mbele. Hii broad-based, Mheshimiwa Rais, imetusaidia sana, imeturahisishia kazi ya siasa na hata kazi ya kukusaidia kuendesha serikali ambayo unaongoza. Kwa hivyo, I think I'll be in order kusema ya kwamba hii broad-based ni fire sana. Ni fire si fire. Ni power si power. Ni fire na power kwa sababu tuko na power man in the house. And Your Excellency, I've been asked just to call the two party leaders to address us, and then we proceed with the program. We have a very tight program, but we'll also achieve a lot because we have organized ourselves to make sure that we maximize on the presence of the so many leaders from our team who have managed to attend this event. Allow me, ladies and gentlemen, to invite now the one and only power man in the House, the party leader of the Orange Democratic Movement Party, Senator Oburu Oginga. Ni fire si fire, ni noma si noma, mzee ni power si power. Karibu bwana Powerman, and welcome us and give us your remarks.
Hamjambo. ODM. Asante. Asante. Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Kenya and Commander of the Armed Forces, William Samoei Ruto, Your Excellency, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, Honorable Kithure Kindiki, Your Excellency, the Chief Minister and Minister of Foreign Affairs, Musalia Mudavadi, and Your Excellencies, the leadership of our great formation, distinguished governors and members of Parliament, my fellow Kenyans, sons and daughters of this great nation of ours. 2 years ago, it would not have been possible to imagine this kind of a mixture in a hall anywhere in Kenya. Because just about 2-3 years ago, we were serious competitors in a democratic state of Kenya. We were competing, not competing to take power for ourselves, we were competing to take power to the people, to help in the commitment to develop our nation further and push it forward and make it better than we found it. Your Excellency, I stand before you today not to play the transient game of politics, but to answer the enduring call of statesmanship. As an elder in this nation, my heart bleeds for the future of every Kenyan child, from the shores of Lake Victoria to the hills of Central, and from the yes, Your Excellency, my eyes are failing me, so I will leave this speech. I will deposit it here with you people. But, Your Excellency, we came here as a fraternity. We came here to jail together. We came here to fraternize. We came here to think about the future of our country. And Your Excellency, in the next 2 days, we are going to look at issues which affect our country, the issues which we have achieved, and what we are planning to achieve. The issues which will catapult this great community of ours, of ODM and order to power next year in 2027. Your Excellency, those issues are serious issues. We have been in a struggle. First, the struggle was to get the independence of this country. For this, we struggled for this country to become independent from the colonial power. But, Your Excellency, after independence, our people took power. We came into the place of control of our own destiny. The country has gone through revolutions. The country has gone through many waves. The first wave was when multi-party was abandoned and our country became a one-party state. And our party struggled. Our people struggled because they saw that the whole world was not going single party, because single party was leading to dictatorship. It was not allowing proper democracy to prevail in the country. So people fought and sacrificed, and there are Kenyans who lost their lives in the struggle to change this country and remove that oppressive law making Kenya a one-party state. Your Excellency, after the one-party state we became a multi-party democracy. Many parties were registered. Some of them are briefcase parties, which only appear during elections. They come and they are folded. And our party, ODM, has been in existence for the last 20 years. This is the longest serving party. This is, yes, we are, I think, and we are experienced, and we are organized up to grassroots, up to the polling station. We have our representatives up to the polling station. And Mr. Speaker, Your Excellency, Mr. President, many people admire us. They want to copy what we are doing. But we deliberately and consciously decided that our country will not go to the dogs when some people went to the streets to try to change the government through the streets. We said the government should not be changed through streets, through demonstrations. Government must be changed through the ballot. And we believed in the stability. So when there was a little shake, we said, no, let us come in and join President Ruto, because looking at the options then, there was no anybody who was better than Ruto. Even if we still thought he was a devil, he was a better devil than the other devils. Yes, yeah. So Your Excellency, we moved on. We moved on, and we joined through the leadership of our late great party leader of our nation, the party leader of the ODM, and the leader of this country. I think he was a statesman in our country, and we respect him for that. And we say, may God rest his soul in eternal peace. Yes. Now, Your Excellency, we moved on when we joined this broad-based government. And as you know, before we joined the broad-based government, we were together in a handshake government with President Uhuru Kenyatta. President Uhuru Kenyatta did not give ODM even a single minister, even a single permanent secretary. There was the only thing which President Uhuru Kenyatta gave us was a promise to give us the presidency. Your Excellency and honorable members of parliament and governors and all the leadership of our parties, both parties. I want to say that from that time we moved on, and we said, okay, we missed the presidency, but life must continue. And we effectively joined the opposition, and we were genuinely fighting. I think President Ruto will tell you that he could feel our presence in the streets when we put on sufriyas in our head. But as fate would have it, we are together. We are now tied together. We are with an umbilical cord, and this umbilical cord should be nursed, and we must urge that let us be straightforward. If you have any issue that you want to raise, please raise it honestly, but don't be a fence sitter. Because we say, in Kijaluo we say, if you face the lake, face it squarely. Because if you face it squarely, it is a blessing. And if you turn your back to it, it is a blessing. And if you are neither looking at it and neither turning your back to it, it is a curse. It is a curse. Don't sit in the fence. You must decide where you are. Because we want to know who is with us and who is not with us. If you are not with us, you are not with us. If you are with us, you are with us. And let's speak very, very frankly. And I hope that those who are the implementers, we also have our ministers. For the first time, now ODM has a very, very senior position in this government. We have the CS for finance, and that is where food is cooked. That is the center of the government. That is the one keeping the wealth of the government. And yes, and we also have a Tandi in Parliament. So ODM, you should not say that you have nothing, that you are getting nothing. If you are getting nothing, then first of all, let us blame our own people. Because they are also inside. So today, as we get account of what is happening in the broad-based government, we are getting it as part and parcel of this great, this broad-based government. We are not getting it as outsiders sitting to listen. Now, let President Ruto tell us what he has done and what he has not done. We have also been participating in doing maybe whatever they did earlier. We don't know, but what has been done during our tenure, we know. We know. And therefore, now when we are here, we are now at a stage where we want to make policies, we want to push policies which will push this country to the first world. And we are not shy about it. We want to make policies which will take us to Singapore. And we are not shy about it. And therefore, as we listen here, I don't want to take more time because the president is still going to speak. And then we now listen to the doers who are the executive to tell us exactly what they have done for this country, and some expert also to guide us on a few things. So with those very, very many remarks, I now want to end my speech, and this written one, I will also hand it over for record. But I'm sure I've summarized what is inside. Thank you.
Power, 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 power. Thank you very much, Mzee. Naomba tuketi. I think some of the best speeches are made when you are not referring to any notes. And you agree with me, Mzee has made a very, very good speech touching on why we are here, what we need to do, and the road ahead. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's now my pleasure to request the leader of UDA, the President of Kenya, and the leader of the broad-based government, President William Samoei Ruto, ni fire si fire.
Thank you very much. Asante sana, Bwana Deputy President. Please, let's take our seats, good people. Kiongozi wetu wa chama cha ODM, Mheshimiwa Oburu Oginga. Fellow leaders, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Hamjambo. Let me take this opportunity first to welcome all of you to this broad-based leaders meeting. This meeting is beyond a parliamentary group because in our midst we have governors and we also have our CSS. And as we start this meeting, there is one person who is not here, a very significant, consequential statesman, without whom we would not be sitting in the formation that we are sitting today. And in his honor, and to appreciate and honor him for his contribution, not just to our nation, not even to our government, but to us being seated in the formation that we are today in Naivasha. I want to request you that you observe a minute of silence in honor of the late Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga, our former Prime Minister. Thank you very much. Asanteni sana. ODM. Kweli. ODM. UDA. UDA. Basi. I want to take this opportunity in our meeting today. We have the broad-based family. And as you know, the Kenya Kwanza family includes Fort Kenya, Chap Chap, PA, UDM, and all the other parties and our older party of ODM. And today, we are meeting here today as one broad-based family. As was said by the Honorable Oburu Oginga, 4 years ago, we were very serious competitors. And we went to the elections with different plans, but converging manifestos. After the election, when we were elected, we took over and began the journey to implement the plan upon which we were elected. And our friends and brothers in ODM, then in the opposition, took up the responsibility of making sure that we were held to account. And today in this meeting, as we meet here, we're going to have a very candid conversation. And that is why I have no notes, because we want to have a heart-to-heart, candid conversation about where we were, what we have done with the last 4 years, initially as Kenya Kwanza, subsequently as broad-based, and to chart the way forward. I want to talk to you, friends, as a Kenyan and as a patriot, because this meeting is very consequential. The broad-based family is the largest gathering of political leaders in Kenya. This broad-based family is only second to the grand coalition government. And therefore, where you are seated today, understand the consequence of your being here. Our nation, Kenya, today depends to a very large extent on this team that is seated here. It is not easy to put together 250 plus members of the National Assembly and almost 45 senators and governors. The two largest formations in Kenya, political formations, are seated in this room. And therefore, the future of our nation is dependent on the decisions that we make in this meeting. And therefore, all of us seated here must understand the weight of the decisions we make, because they will influence how Kenya moves into the future. I have the privilege of being the leader of this team, because when we sat down with my elder brother, the Right Honorable Raila Odinga, and by the way, just for your information, it did not happen 2 years ago. Because I knew and I realized it was my intention to bring the country together, I did engage the Honorable Raila Odinga immediately after the election. With a view of minimizing the differences, the rough edges, because ultimately we are citizens of one nation, irrespective of our political persuasions. Yes, we must compete. Yes, we must have different points of view. But bottom line is that we belong to one nation. And if Kenya succeeds, we succeed irrespective of our political sides. If Kenya does not succeed, it doesn't succeed for all of us. And therefore, whatever it is, whatever different points of view that we have, ultimately, we must have it at the back of our minds that we have a nation to look after. And every leader, irrespective of the sides that you belong to, must understand that the well-being of the Kenyan people, the destiny of our nation, is dependent on us as leaders as we take the country forward. So, we went to compete. And if you look at our manifesto as Kenya Kwanza, and you look at the manifesto of the then Azimio, you will find that there are areas of convergence. There are areas that for a very long time, all of us, as the people of Kenya, have always wanted to achieve, albeit using different means. And it is the reason why I did ask the Kenya Kwanza team, and I know they are sitting here and they remember. And I told them then, and I will tell this theme today, that the challenge is not so much that we have won the elections. It is not even that we have a manifesto upon which we had discussed in many fora with the people of Kenya. The challenge is if we have the courage and the mettle to implement the manifesto and the commitment we made to the people of Kenya. And I want to stand here proudly to say to the Kenya Kwanza team, I am very, very proud of you. Very, very proud. Yes. I know I took many of you through very difficult decision-making journeys. Yes. You remember the difficult meetings we had on housing, the difficult meetings we had on implementing health, on making sure that we have a new formula to fund our education, and on all the other issues. And I remember telling you then that it is not necessary to be popular all the time. The Bible says there's a time for everything. Today, we have a track record that is second to none. Yes. And I must say this of our friends and brothers in ODM. When it was time to discuss housing, when it was time to discuss universal health coverage, the Honorable Raila Odinga agreed with me. And our brothers and sisters in ODM did not find it any difficult when we decided that we were forming a broad-based government, because in the agenda we were implementing, they could see their own plan in ODM, the plan they had gone to the election with, being implemented in part by our administration. And I want to say to my friends, my brothers and sisters in ODM, thank you very much for putting the interests of the nation ahead of other interests. I stand here today to say I am very, very proud of my former party. Yes. And you, led by my brother Raila Odinga, and now my elder brother Oburu Oginga, will go down in history as a party and converge it with the plan of Kenya Kwanza. And that is why in the last 2 years, the program of implementing what we wanted for Kenya has picked up pace. There has been an acceleration of the delivery of our plan ever since our brothers and sisters from ODM joined us and we became a broad-based administration. And that is why in this meeting, we are going to have presentations on where we were 4 years ago, the track record of what we have achieved in relation to the commitments we made to the people of Kenya. And we are also going to agree together on not just what we have achieved, but what is achievable and what we can do together in the next 1 year, and by God's grace, in the next 5 years and into the future. So this meeting, and I am I'm a very proud person. Yes. Because it is very rare to be a leader of a team as big, as committed as the one we have in this room today. Listen, guys. The other side is in chaos. I don't have to say that. I don't have to explain. Yeah? So, as we meet here today, the future of our nation, subject of our conversation. You know, we have had 2 CSs in this administration at the National Treasury, right? You all agree, either by virtue of him being a former member of parliament, either because he understands the nuances of politics and public engagement, CS Mbadi has distinguished himself in a very significant way and explained to the people of Kenya what we are doing. And so has every CS. I must congratulate all of them. Under very difficult circumstances, you know, especially those of us who are not members of parliament, I know it may not be easy, who are not former members of parliament, to navigate the public space. And so, what am I trying to say? Listen, good people. We have done exceptionally well on matters to do with agriculture. And we
having been created in this sector from various value chain, through construction activities, through professional services, manufacturing, logistics, and supporting industries. And if you look, I wish I had more time to explain what we have seen in the manufacturing sector, which was growing at almost a negative, now has picked up at 4.6%. And the same with housing sector, construction sector. It is all reflected in this program together with the road construction that is ongoing in the country. 5,000 graduate interns have been deployed across projects nationwide and thousands more employed directly on construction sites. A total of not less than 476 markets have been packaged for development nationwide, with 354 of them already under implementation and across all constituencies in the Republic. Through the Nairobi River Regeneration Program, also approximately 44,000 young people are engaged in environmental restoration, river cleanup, tree planting, and climate resilience interventions. And I can go on and on, but I want to mention that more than 11 billion has been earmarked for MSMEs and Juakali enterprises participating in housing and market programs. That is only for housing and market programs. And finally, through recognition of prior learning initiative, more than 2,000 artisans have been certified, enabling them to access formal contracts. So those are data, those are statistics that you can quote with authority. On micro, small, and medium enterprises, very quickly, I want to mention that again, we are aware that MSMEs is the backbone of our economy. It accounts for 98% of businesses, providing approximately 15 million jobs to our people and contributing not less than 40% to our GDP. MSMEs, what we may call Juakali. But the government has moved deliberately to put affordable credit, markets, and shared infrastructure directly into the hands of the enterprises and young people at the base of the economy. So when you are asked, what is the government doing for the people down the bottom? What is the government doing to young people? You can confidently say that this sector, which is contributing 98% to our, which is contributing 40% to our GDP and employing 15 million people, there has been deliberate efforts by the government to give affordable credits, do or construct markets to provide dignity where they're doing businesses, and shared infrastructure. So this is what has been done. Since 2022, through Hustler Fund, the government has disbursed 87 billion to 28 million accounts and assigned a formal credit history to 4.5 million people. In fact, those who were previously unscored, now heading to about 7 million, have been removed from being blacklisted to now they are Kenyans who can again engage in borrowing like any other Kenyan. Under Nyota program, more than 5.6 billion has been invested in business skills training, mentorship, and startup capital, benefiting at least 84 youths in each of the country's 1,450 wards, and 214 industrial development centers equipped in all constituencies and open regional markets to more than 1,100 enterprises, creating over 23,000 direct and indirect jobs. Let's move to the next. So that is under MSMEs. The next one is the digital superhighway and creative economy. This is harnessing digital opportunities. Let's just move to the next. Next. So in support of the creative economy, the government has established 3 film hubs in Dedan Kimathi University in Nyeri. There's another one in Bomet and a third one in Migori counties, and fully equipped them with film production equipment. Additionally, a cinema theater has been established at Dedan Kimathi University of Technology with a capacity of 150 audiences. Further, to reach more youth, particularly in rural areas, a cinema mashinani program has been also rolled out. And the government has also facilitated the production of 1,745 local and foreign films in Kenya and trained 1,847 filmmakers. I know there is a lot of literature on how we expanded the network through the Brethren, but I just picked those particular ones for this discussion because of the time constraint. Let's move to the next. Now, let me now talk about transport, blue economy, energy, and industry as one heading. Here, again, the government has sustained investment since 2022, which has improved infrastructure development, thereby enhancing connectivity and boosting manufacturing and facilitating trade. Expansion of road network across the country, with over 2,669 kilometers of new roads constructed and completed. This is what has been completed of roads. But a lot of road construction is still ongoing. And 132,000 kilometers have been maintained. Private capital mobilization has also been channeled in this program. Approximately 96 billion in private capital was mobilized through PPPs in the financial year 25-26, including the one by CRBC and NSSF investment in the Rironi, Gilgil, and the Nairobi, Mai Mahiu, Naivasha sections of the Nairobi-Nakuru Mau Summit Highway. And I think some of us, while driving here, if you had never noticed what is happening, you must have seen. This, to me, is very important because we have talked about inclusivity here. And we have said that it is this broad-based government that is the only government which is thinking about inclusivity. Construction of 750 kilometers Northern Kenya Gateway Corridor to boost connectivity and trade in 3 expansive counties of Isiolo, Wajir, and Mandera. These are 3 counties which had not seen proper tarmac road cutting across. This, to me, is a major achievement for this government. Even if we were to forget anything else, please speak to this, because this is the kind of inclusivity that we need in this country. Next slide. Under blue economy, the government has made strides in blue economy, and we have made gains, including fish landing sites. At the coast, 5 coastal counties have modern landing sites under development. Mwaepe, I hope I've pronounced it correctly, Waziri Mvuria, could you help me? Kwale, 255 million shillings. Kidongo in Mombasa. There is Kilifi Central in Kilifi. Kipini in Tana River, again with the amounts, and Mokowe in Lamu with an amount of 209 million. These projects are scheduled. I think now they should be concluded because they were scheduled for completion in June.
Just 1 minute. Let's go back to that roads place.
Go back to roads.
The roads agenda, friends, I think we have 4 issues that we have done on the roads agenda. Number 1, all of us here know that when we came into office, all the roads were stalled. Is that correct? We used innovative means to unlock the many kilometers of roads that are stalled. Today, all the roads that were stalled, there is, at least in 90% of the places, the roads are continuing, correct? That's number 1. Number 2, we have undertaken some of the major infrastructure programs around transport. When we came into office in 2022, the Kenol-Maroa dual carriageway was 30% done. Is that correct? Today, it is 95, 98% done, all the way to Nyeri. Number 2, the Great Northern Road from Isiolo to Mandera is under construction. We should claim credit for it. No other administration has put 100 billion to do that road, right? Number 3, we now have the road from Rironi to Mau Summit, and already, even as that road is going on, we are already in discussion on the extension from Mau Summit to Malaba, both through Eldoret and through Kericho Kisumu. That Kericho Kisumu Busia, yeah. So that road is on course. This one is under construction. We have made a commitment that by June next year, we will be in Mau Summit, and then as we launch that road, we will also launch the beginning of the construction of the other one, all the way to Malaba. And then number 4, the SGR that was stranded somewhere near where we are now, here in Narok. Yeah? All of you now know that that construction has begun, going through Bomet, Kisii, Kisumu, Bungoma, all the way to Malaba. All right? That is some of the signature transport programs that we have done under this administration. And we should be very, very proud of it. Not to mention, the people in the coast know the road from Lamu to Ijara, coming again all the way to Isiolo. That road, when we came into office, it had been contracted to be a Maram road. We came and changed. Now, 250 kilometers of it has been done under tarmac, and we are continuing and we will complete that road. So, again, the reason why some of us don't speak is because we have been intimidated as though we have done nothing. Which other administration has done what we have done? And you see, the media people keep telling me, Mr. President, your people refuse to come to the media houses. So we are bombarded with opposition nonsense, propaganda, fake news, and misinformation when we have a credible record that nobody can dispute. If we talk about Kenol Maroa, there are people from Kenol Maroa Road who are here. That road has been done, is it or not? If we do the one from Lamu, Rueda is here. Hiyo ya Lamu sinaendelea na barabara ya Lamu. Hii ya kutoka hapa Rironi, si hata nyinyi mmeona kwa macho yenu. Ile ya reli, sinaendelea hiyo ya reli. Sasa hii story tunaambiwa hii fitina ni ya nini? Why don't we speak about our record? Sawa sawa. So tutaongea hiyo maneno mengine baadaye. Tuendelee.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Could have made it better. Now, on blue economy, I think I've spoken about the coastal counties. This broad-based government or administration has also pursued a deliberate strategy to revive inland water transport on Lake Victoria, repositioning the lake as a driver of regional trade, fisheries, tourism, and economic inclusion. In Busia, CO ports is over 60% complete in terms, and the one in Migori, that is Muhuru Bay port, have been done as piers. Homa Bay, the second phase of the pier is ongoing, and there are three actually. There is Usenge Beach, and there is the Sena Island, the Sena one in Mfangano, and Rusinga, with an allocation of 500 million each to do and improve the lake transport from Busia all the way to Migori. Next slide. Under the energy sector, again here, apart from the National Infrastructure Fund, which will invest a lot in improving our generation of electricity to at least 10,000 megawatts, we have made some strides. One, now the installed electricity generation capacity has reached 3,272, but we want it to move to not less than 10,000 megawatts. In grid strengthening, 75 kilometers of transmission lines and associated substations have been constructed, 200 kilometers of transmission lines energized, including the Lesos, Kabarnet, Kitui Wote, and then Sondu Homa Bay lines. 330 kilometers of distribution lines and 7 associated substations completed. In terms of access expansion, the number of customers connected now to electricity has risen from 8.9 million in 2022 to 10.2 million. That is additional 1.3 million. Industrialization is currently gaining momentum with 10 county aggregation and industrial parks already constructed over the last 3 years to support value addition and create employment opportunities across the counties. And there are others also which are still under construction together with the county governments. Education. Just move to the next slide. Access to education and skills, I cannot overemphasize, is very key to the success and economic progress of a country. What have we done in this sector? To enhance support to our children who are learning by giving them more teachers, because there cannot be education without teachers in classrooms. 100,000 teachers have been recruited in the last 4 years to strengthen teaching capacity and improve learner outcomes. 100,000. I keep on saying that there is no administration which has employed more than 5,000 teachers per year. If you divide 100,000 by 4 years, that is 25,000 teachers per year. And this has improved the teacher-learner ratio from 1 to 49 to now 1 to 29. 1 to 45 to now 1 to 29. Meaning now one teacher is attending to fewer students as compared to 2022. Meaning there is more quality education. And we are going to employ another 16,000 at least in the next 1 year, hopefully. Timely and consistently release, contrary to what has been put out there, timely and consistent release of capitation funds to support learning in basic education institutions. There is no single term that has been opened without National Treasury releasing money to schools. We have been releasing money to schools before the opening. There can be debate about whether the budget is sufficient or not. But whatever is in the budget, we release. And in fact, first term, we release 50%. Second term, it is 30%. And third term is always 20%. Construction of 23,000 classrooms and commencement of 1,600 laboratories in partnership with NGCDF to support CBC implementation. And NGCDF, Your Excellency, I want to report that at least for the first time in the history, I think since CDF was formed, we released the full amount before the end of the financial year. We have revitalized technical and vocational education and training with enrollment increasing from 562,000 in 2002 trainees to 825,000 trainees in 2025. In this financial year, the government has allocated 784 billion for education. This figure has risen from 526 billion in 2022. It is now 784. So when you hear the opposition talking about us defunding education, either they don't know the meaning of defunding or they are being very mean and economical with the truth. The truth is that allocation to education in this country has risen in the past 4 years from 526 billion to 784 billion. And I've given some of the highlights, some of the figures there. Let's move to the next slide. Under sports, and very quickly, here you all know Talanta Hela program, which aims to, among other things, promote talents and among the youth and revitalize the creative economy through identifying, nurturing and monetization of youth talents in sports. And sports and health and arts infrastructure development also is another initiative. And we are upgrading of existing stadia and completion of regional stadia across the country in preparation with AFCON. 33,000 new stadia are under construction across the country before I come to the Raila Odinga Talanta Stadium. So let's go to the next slide. Okay. Yes. Now, up there, Rebecca Miano should be very proud of herself. What is happening? International arrivals grew from only 870,000 in 2021 to what we have today, 2,550,000 tourists in 2025. That's why you can see our foreign exchange are very healthy, because we are getting a lot of inflow of forex in the country. A rise which is approximately 193%, with hotel bed nights up by 12.6%. Talanta Sports City, the 60,000 seat Raila Odinga International Stadium at Jamhuri, Nairobi, is over 90% complete as of mid-2026, which is ahead of co-hosting of AFCON or 2027 with Uganda and Tanzania. Stadia and culture, rehabilitation of more international sports center Kasarani, which is 48,000 capacity, is going on, and Nyayo National Stadium plus AFCON training venues upgrades is going on. I mentioned about over 33 stadia being constructed across the country, something that has never happened in this country. When, I think it was the Jubilee government, when they were campaigning and they talked of having a stadium in every county, I was like, are they mad, you know? I could not see how that would happen. And by the way, Jubilee never implemented that. So I thought I was vindicated. Only to see that it is possible. Now, if we have done 33, what can stop us from doing another 14? So it is achievable. But let me talk also, Bomas of Kenya is expanding. I think you can see what is happening at the Bomas of Kenya. Since independence, we have KICC as the only conference facility, something that has been overtaken by events. Now we are going to have a state-of-the-art and international conference facility. Let's move to the next one. Strong devolution. Here we'll just take a minute because I know my brother will speak to this. Just move to the next slide very quickly. Government has ensured consistent and timely disbursement of resources to county governments. We committed ourselves that we will make sure that counties are not starved of funds, that we release the county funds. In fact, at the Treasury, it is our standard rule that before anything is done, we must make sure that the funding to counties is effected. So, look, since 2022, funding to county governments has steadily increased, with the equitable share to counties increasing from 370 billion in 2022-2023 budget to now 428 billion in 2026-2027 budget. I know we are aiming at 450, but look at the strides that we have made. The national government has also increased additional allocations to the 47 county governments. This, together with the shareable revenue and the donor proceeds, has pushed total county allocation from 392 billion in the financial year 22-23 to 502 billion in 25-26. I think I also wanted to mention this. This is very important. Today, with the national government support under the shared functions, deliveries by our mothers in level 2 and 3, which were initially not covered, are now fully being paid for, supported fully. You will allow me, because I'm getting into even a more juicy part. If you could just give me another 3 minutes, I go to the next topic, which is the public debt. That is something, Senator Mazayo, that I cannot go without talking about. Because now all this I've been speaking for my colleagues. Now I should speak for myself and my ministry. Public debt reforms. Ladies and gentlemen, look at where we were. In fact, this is what I want to talk about. The danger Kenya was in 2022-23. That is the baseline. The danger we were in. I said we were on a cliff. One mistake, we were going to tip. That is why IMF classified Kenya among among 5 other nations in the continent which were going to default. It was not about if, it was about when. All the 5 have defaulted. It's only Kenya which survived. And you see, this is where we were. I've just presented to you where we were in 2022-2023. The debt to GDP ratio was at 72%. If the government was to borrow 91-day treasury bill, the government was paying 16%. This even went up at one point because of up to 18. Our exchange rate at this time, which went up even up to 160, was 156 to the dollar. At this time, we had a Eurobond default risk, real, $2 billion US, which was to be paid as a bullet payment in the month of June 2024. Up to this time, the government had no strategy on how this was going to be paid. That is why there was panic. The investors lost confidence in Kenya. The yield on our bonds shot up. In fact, the shilling depreciated to 160. That is what we were talking about. Because of this panic, because of this possible default. And debt service to revenue ratio was at 60%, meaning every shilling we were collecting, 60 cents was going to debt service. And finally, this was the fiscal deficit, 8.8%. So what was the government's response? Go to the next slide. The government's response was this. IMF was supposed to support the government. It took time. No one knew whether they were going to support the government. Fortunately, the team which was in government that time, I was not there, for full disclosure, took a decision that saved this country. In the month of February, an opportunity was seen that we could go to the market and refinance this debt. So the government went and refinanced the Eurobond up to 75% in February. That is what saved our economy from total collapse. Because with 1.5 billion paid, which was a bullet payment, it was 2 billion coming in June, 1.5 was paid in February, it eased pressure on the economy immediately. And that is how we survived. So only 500 million remained for the government to pay in June. So that was easy. Then the confidence came back. I will show you that. But then, after now I had come in, we sat down with the president, and we said that, look, there are people who are in these offices. I remember asking the president, Your Excellency, what was happening with these people who are in the offices this time? 2 billion bullet payment is coming in June, and you have no plan. Let me add, you have no clue. And probably you have no strategy on how to settle that. And you are just hoping that you are leaving office and another person will deal with that problem. That is carelessness, that is recklessness. Now, we sat down and looked at our debt portfolio and profile. Yeah. We looked at the portfolio of debts that we had, and we saw that in 2027, we have another big debt to pay. Another one in 2028 to pay. Another one in 2031 to pay. Another one in 2032 to pay. Now, in May 2027, you have a debt of 900 million US dollars. If you don't act immediately, then something is wrong with you. In 2028, you have another 1 billion US dollars to pay. If you don't act, because it will just be a few months after election, you have a problem. And then also took out 628 million of the 2028 debts, which would have fallen due. We took out 628 of the $1 billion. And then, in February this year, we went a step further to take out parts of the 2028 debts and go a step further to 2032. So we have also reduced the 2032 debts. The only debt that we left was 2031 debt because the rates were not very good. So we left it to look at it badai, because we didn't want to go for a more expensive debt for a cheaper one. So colleagues, now this is what we have done. We had, in June 2024, we had what we call the critical. It was very critical. We eliminated that risk. We have managed, through all these things that we have done, to strengthen Kenya shillings by 17%. From 156 to 129 today, 129.3. We have managed to reduce cost, because the moment we paid these maturing debts, what happened? The yield on our debts went down. Meaning now Kenya is paying lesser in terms of servicing these Eurobonds because of the actions that we took. There is no more panic that Kenya would default. Our foreign exchange, this figure is not correct. This is an old figure. It is now 6.4 months of import cover at 15.3 billion. Bilaterally also, we decided to do something that I hear no country has ever done. That we got into bilateral engagement with China. I remember Your Excellency spoke the debt service to exports has gone down from 29 to 13%. Meaning now our debt as a numerator over denominator, which is export, is smaller, almost less than half. We can comfortably now service our debts using our exports. Then, finally, look at these rates. 91-day T-bill, 16%. Now it is 8.79. Let's move to the next quickly. I think this is basically a repeat of what I've said. Go to the next. Again, go to the next. No, but go back there. Just one comment. On the reforms that we have carried out, there is what we call treasury single accounts. Some of us have heard about it, but they don't know what it is. What this means is we had accounts scattered all over in commercial banks without government having visibility. National Treasury not even knowing how much we have. Presently, now we can see our balances. And I will tell you, Your Excellency, that it has led to this. Look at how much we used to pay central bank. Because we used to take overdraft from central bank on shortfalls to service maybe some loans which are falling due quickly. And in this year, 23-24, we even paid 9.6 billion. This is interest on overdrafts that we used to take. Today, it is 3 billion. But listen to this. July, Your Excellency, we have only paid 30 million. In July, 30 million. If we maintain that, it means we'll only pay 360 million shillings for the whole year as overdraft interest. Why? Because now we can see our balances which are lying idle elsewhere in all our accounts. So we don't have to borrow money, and yet we have money in other accounts. Let's move to the next one. Move to the next. Now, this is just a comparison. Debt to GDP ratio 72. Now it is 67 to 68.
John,
yes.
Just wait 1 minute.
Sorry.
Just go back to that single treasury account.
Let's go back to treasury single account.
You know, friends, the issue of treasury single account is a very big and transformational step that we took. Many administrations tried to do this single treasury account, and it was impossible. You know, since Kibaki, it was not possible to do it because there was money being made by people placing government money in different accounts. And sometimes the market to borrow money sitting in a bank. Foolish. We said we must have visibility of all government money in every account. And before we go to the market to borrow, we use the money we have. If we have money here that is not being used now, it is next month. We take that money, use it this month, we will find the money for next month. So that, and I must congratulate our good people at Treasury for taking that very bold step. Today, look, in 2023-2024, because we didn't have Treasury single account, we paid 9.6 billion on interest. That has come down to this year, 2026, 3 billion. And he's now telling you, for July, only paid 30 million. Because now the thing is being seamless. This is part of the reforms that nobody will tell you about. Because we are not saying it ourselves. We must say it loudly, you know, so that people know we have transformed the economy of the country. Whatever numbers you see here have not happened by accident. It is because of the reforms that we have carried out in that space. Treasury single account is one big step that we have. So we are being told some other character is saying, because he doesn't know, he says, oh, I'm going to come and do a treasury single account. Hana habari kwamba it is already done.
Thank you, Your Excellency. I know, thank you, Your Excellency. Now, this one is just a comparison. All the things that I talked about, debt to GDP ratio has improved, you can see. 91-day treasury bill rates gone down. Debt service to export, that is 2022 to 2026. I have explained all this, so we can move to the next. Then just move to the next. I think I've spoken to all this. So in summary, this is what we have done in terms of liability management. We have reduced refinancing risk. Which was real, and you saw it. We have improved our debt profile. Fortunately, even the report from IMF that was given to World Bank, which unlocked our DPO, had a positive picture about our debt sustainability. Market confidence signal. This we have also achieved. And by the way, what we did was to convert most bullet maturities into amortizing bonds. Let me just explain it in a second. Most of our Eurobond were bullet payment. Bullet means you pay it once. It was coming and you pay it once. What we have done is to change most of them to amortized bond, that you pay them in bits over a period of time. And most of them, so if you look at our curve, if I had time, you can see it has been smoothened. It was having spikes, very long bars. Near-term cost, again, against long-term, you can move to the next. I think I've explained that. Now, this has led to stable and business-friendly macroeconomic environment. Let's just go to that. I don't want to bore you with the 5% GDP growth. This one you know. Move to the next. Our forex reserves, this is what I was speaking to. 6.4 months, it's not even 6.3. 6.4 months of import cover, which is way above the 3 months, which is the threshold. We are at 6.4. That is why we don't have much shocks, even regardless of what is happening in the global economy. Savings, this I need to speak to. Savings have risen from 1.5 trillion in 2022 to 2.85 trillion by June 2026 in this country. Total savings. Total savings. But His Excellency spoke about NSSF savings. It is now at 700 billion. From what in 2022? 285. The figure that HE talks about was 320, but that was 2023. 2022, it was at 285 billion. Look, NSSF has increased their savings. Now what do they have? 285 to 700. The savings has helped us in supporting the Nairobi Securities Exchange. The Nairobi Securities Exchange crossed the historic 4 trillion market capitalization mark for the first time in history on August 4th of 2026, closing at approximately 4.01 trillion, now making it one of the best performing stock exchanges in the world. Not even in Africa, in the world. In fact, and move on, I think I've... Inflation, let me speak to inflation. To 2.5 plus, to 5, which is 2.5 up or 2.5 down. But in the month of May, we had, in April, it was 5.6. This was up from 4.4 the previous month. Then it went to 6.7 in May. But it came down to 6.4 in June. In July, it was 6.5. Meaning, even with the problem that we are facing in the Middle East, we can still be able to manage our inflation within the range. And we are expecting this to remain within target. Move on so that we can finish. Now, this, I only want to explain this graph. Credit to private sector. I've heard people say that we are starving private sector of resources, that what are we doing to make sure that people have money in their pockets. The story is different. Credit to private sector from around May 2024, this is the pattern, has been going down. Mpaka it was negative at one point in January 2025. We were really struggling for banks to give private sector money. But this has recovered, you can see. Today we are talking about 9.3% in May growth in credit to private sector, meaning banks and financial institutions are giving more money to the private sector at a positive growth, almost now hitting double digits. So this, again, is not just happening by chance. You can even see the interest rates have gone down. And this I will not say here, but what National Infrastructure Fund has also done, we may end up with more credit at double digit to the private sector because there will be liquidity in the market. Let's move and we conclude. Yeah, so this is just more explanation on the same. Move on. I think we have explained it basically this. Because of the time, let's move on. In the interest of time. Where have you? You've come back. Go on. To the next slide. The next. Of course, our exchange rate, I not overemphasize. That one I'd explained. I've explained Nairobi Securities Exchange, but let me just repeat it. That Kenya's capital markets have crossed 4 trillion in market capitalization for the first time in the history of this country by August 4th, 2026. Total listed company value has also grown by more than 1 trillion since January this year alone. And this is clearly demonstrating investor confidence. From one of the world's weakest markets from 2023, before 2023, today we became the Africa's best performing exchange in 2024 and the second best in 2025. Move on. Of course, that is talking about the capital markets. I mean, the IPO that we issued. Now, move to the next. The one, yes, this one. FDI inflows. This is what can show you and demonstrate the investor confidence. Foreign direct inflows of USD 3.2 billion in 2025, the highest ever recorded, 38% growth from 2.3 billion in 2024. This is not our own data, it is UNCTAD World Investment Report of 2026. FDI has doubled in 3 years, from US dollars 1.6 billion in 2022 to 3.2 billion to 2025. Kenya has now been ranked among Africa's top 5 FDI destinations. So when people talk of businesses are fleeing away, where is the data? The data is that we are now among the top attractive investment destination. In fact, in terms of attractiveness, Kenya was ranked the best in Africa in terms of attractiveness. Number 56 in the world. But you can see FDI inflow, you can only talk about Kenya, together with Nigeria, which has also been attracting some inflows, Ethiopia, Uganda, and I think Egypt. Yeah, I don't see where Egypt, oh, Egypt is here. We have also talked about sovereign wealth fund. This one, Parliament, I don't want to bore you with this. You are the ones who passed legislation to create a sovereign wealth fund, and you help us to create NIF fund. So I don't want to belabor the point. You know the three areas that sovereign wealth fund is supposed to address. Let's move on. I think, let me summarize and conclude. Your Excellency, I have talked about what this administration has been able to do in the past 4 years. And if you are fair to this administration, who belong to broad-based government, there is no reason why you cannot go out there and talk with confidence where we have brought this country from. We have done a lot of work, but if we are not careful, it will be consumed in the noise of our competitors. You can see, even in public debt alone, which everybody has been talking about, what this government has done. You can speak with authority because it cannot be denied. It is undeniable that this country was at a dangerous place. And now we can breathe and we can confidently say, let me tell you something, which I've shared with His Excellency. Early last year, 2025, one of the senior officials of IMF came, and we had a meeting with him. He's a former minister of Jamaica. We had a meeting with him at Serena Hotel, and he was very categorical and unequivocal. He was telling me, you have to go and restructure your debts. I told him we will not restructure debts. In fact, he thought I was mad. And we agreed with His Excellency, the President, that we will not go for debt restructuring, which other countries were going for. Today, the same guy came and told us, you guys are out of danger. There is no need for debt restructuring. We can move on. So, if someone is telling you that this government has not done much, please speak with authority. If you cannot remember all the figures, at least remember some. Just pick some of them and remember. We will share this presentation because it's a public document. We will give it to our members of the National Assembly, members of the Senate, our governors, anybody who wants this information, we will make it available. Your Excellency, I want to apologize for taking so much time, but that was the presentation of the government to this meeting. Thank you.
Asante sana ndugu yetu waziri wa fedha na mipango ya uchumi, ndugu yetu John Mbadi. Nafikiria ndio sababu baba alikuchagua kutoka katika ODM ili uende usaidie, na umethibitisha wakilishi huo. Waheshimiwa, nataka kuambia kwamba ikiwa unataka kupata vile vyote ambavyo Mbadi ameongea hapa kwa taarifa, unaweza kuichukua baada ya mkutano umemalizika. Hiyo taarifa hiyo iko tayari, utapitia huko nyuma, utachukua hiyo yote aliyoongea hapa, ili kwa sababu uweze kuisoma na kujua zaidi. Nataka kuchukua nafasi hii vile vile kumuita ndugu yangu mwenyekiti wa COG ambaye pia ni gavana wa Wajir. Karibu sana Ahmed.
Bismillah. Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Kenya, Dr. William Samoei Ruto, Your Excellency, the Deputy President, my party leader, Excellency Governors, Members of Parliament, members of the broad-based family, good afternoon. Your Excellency, I think I should have come before John Mbadi. It will be such an anticlimax, and I don't want to get you to sleep through my presentation, but I'll try. Your Excellency, and dear colleagues, you know, as a council leadership, we don't make news when we say anything positive about national government. The nature of the relationship that has been created over the last 14 or so years is such that the voice of the leadership of council can only be heard when they lament. So today I'll try not to lament and focus on what has been achieved as a result of collaboration and cooperation, what I call cooperative governance between the national and the county governments of the last 4 years. Please. Go ahead. Your Excellency, the greatest achievement over the last 4 years has not been what either level of government has accomplished independently, but what we have been able to achieve together. More than anything else, I can say we've been able to work together between the two levels of government, reduce friction, confrontation, and that allowed us to achieve a lot. Next. Your Excellency, this year marks 16 years since the promulgation of the Constitution, and about 13 and a half years since devolution was actually institutionalized through the formation of county governments. Your Excellency, the data that I'm going to share here is from our open data portal at the Marifa Center of Council. At the Council, we have a team that tracks vital data, just like KNBS does, from counties. And at times, there might be some slight differences here and there. Go ahead, please. It's in the area of health that this collaboration between counties and the national government is best evidenced. In 2023, we signed an IPA, an intergovernmental partnership agreement with the national government. You're going too fast. The slide with 100,000. Yeah, there. To set up the community health workers program Before then, they used to be called community health volunteers. Under this arrangement, we agreed to do a 50-50 co-funding between the national and county governments for CHPs to give them stipends of 5,000 shillings a month and to kit them. So the figure that we see there, the 100,000, is the numbers that were given kits, but the actual figure employed, I think, was in the region of 107,000. These CHPs have become a very critical cog in the delivery of health services because they're able to reach every village and ensure that there are a link between the health facilities and the communities. They've become very integral to our outreach programs in health. Your Excellency, the next thing is the establishment and operationalization of SHA with all its segments. I know the figure that was quoted before me here was on 228 primary care networks. But according to the data we have, we actually have 277 established and PCNs across the country. What this does is that it has created stronger linkages between communities, primary healthcare facilities, referral services, providing thereby a more integrated platform for delivering healthcare closer to the citizens. As of June 30th, next slide, the number of people across all counties that are registered for SHA was in the region of 31 million. I know 2 months down the road that number could possibly have changed. And payments to healthcare facilities have now increased from an average of 12.7 billion to 21.36 billion that we take out of SHA for only public facilities within counties. Your Excellency, this has been coupled with the creation of what we call the FIF, the Facility Improvement Fund, because there is now constant money flowing every month from SHA to facilities, individual facilities. And much as once in a while we raise issues about delay of payment of claims, actually we're dealing with a positive challenge in our facilities, in that the facilities now have money. They think it's their personal money. The facility in charge at times will even tell the CEC, the Minister for Health, this is my money. And we have counties that have built entire wings of hospitals, such as Homa Bay, I know, out of FIF money. So this is a very good thing, because going forward, every facility in every corner of a county is assured of money, regardless of who the governor is. Your Excellency, they usually say the proof of the pudding is in the eating. All these interventions that have been made are for a purpose: to reduce infant mortality, maternal mortality, increase vaccination rates, increase skill delivery. So I'll just go into a few of those statistics. We have, with the national government, come up with what is called maternal and perinatal death surveillance and response program, MPDSR. This is to actively and consciously monitor which mother is dying in childbirth and which child is being lost in delivery. And the numbers have yielded results and actually showing that in 2004-2005 fiscal year, there was 2,851 lives lost. That's the number of maternal deaths, compared to 2,656, showing a decrease of about 70%. These numbers, of course, need to come down further. One mother being lost, one child being lost is one too many. But you can see this trend of declining maternal deaths is as a result of the interventions being made in our healthcare systems, the reforms that we are collectively working together on. The number of licensed public facilities across the counties has also increased tremendously. And this data is available on the website, I guess, also of KPMDC. And this only speaks to public facilities. From 4,500 under NHIF to a total of 6,740, an increase of 2,240 now registered under SHA. The number of hospital beds established across counties now stands at 10,104. And this includes, of course, ICU and HDU beds. Next, still in the area of health, when this administration came into office, the medical and service equipment scheme, I think it was commonly referred to as MESS, and I remember Senate saying MESS is a mess, had just lapsed. So the equipment was near obsolete with respect to the useful life, and there was no capacity to fund new equipment by counties. And so the idea of National Equipment Services Program, NESP, was conceptualized by this administration. NESP is now delivering equipment across all the counties, and at least 28 out of the 47 counties have received a number of equipments, including CT scans and MRIs, biochemistry machines, laparoscopic towers, and these are today available in nearly all the level 4 and level 5 hospitals, and for the blood and biochemistry machines, even in level 2 and level 3 hospitals. The last cog in the wheel of that reform was the setup of the National Ambulance and Emergency Services, which was launched the other day, which will actually be reimbursing county ambulances for delivering patients to county hospitals. So the question of asking patients rather, to pay for fuel of ambulances or charging them for ambulance service will now be a thing of the past. Moving on, still within the health reform sector, as many as 42,000 digital devices have been deployed across level 2 to level 5 facilities, supporting the transition towards electronic patient records and digital processing of social health authority claims, making it easier also to collate health data because everything is now digital. So, Your Excellency, I think the one area where this collaboration in the last 4 years has really proved very advantageous to the counties and has really improved services to the common man is indeed in the area of health. Governors are usually quite protective of the health space because of the propaganda and the rumor that's always created that there's an attempt to roll it back. But I want to say that these things that we have achieved as demonstrated, and they may not be all the figures that you will require, will not have been achieved if we had not collaborated, from changing legislation to thinking through PPP arrangements for equipments, to the improvements that the administration has made in KEMSA, to programs such as MPDSR. Moving on, Your Excellency, the data of agriculture, I think what Honorable Mbadi gave is a lot more refined than what I'll give. The Council's data shows that, for instance, horticulture generated no less than 216.5 billion, up from 2003.6 billion in 2024. The amounts generated from coffee exports in 2025, for instance, just comparing 2 years, was up by 38.4 billion in 2024. And tea, according to our data, generated as much as 187.1 billion in 2025. Across all counties, food crop production has improved, with paddy rice output increasing from 169,300 tons to 180,000 tons, and maize deliveries slightly to 178,000 tons. And this is data that was all lifted from the last State of Devolution address that we had at the COG, showing that the programs that this administration has consciously thought of, such as the fertilizer program, are impacting on agriculture in all the counties. Your Excellency, agriculture's contribution to the national economy has, as a result, increased from, move a bit faster, 21.2% to 23.2% of GDP. And there are many programs that we run with the national government with respect to agriculture. These programs include, among others, the Food Security Resilience Program in the ASALs and the National Agricultural Value Chain Development in the more arable areas. Agriculture continues to demonstrate the transformative impact of this cooperative governance, and it's having an impact on our economy. Your Excellency, the CS also spoke to the issue of the fertilizer program. It is indeed having an impact, and county governments have expanded the agricultural network extension of services, irrigation development, livestock and market support to take advantage of the support that the national government is giving. With respect to fertilizer procurement, what the counties are reporting is 272,816 bags procured, reaching no less than 305,000 farmers. Both the national and county governments continue to provide certified seeds and seedlings. I remember C.S. Mbadi was asked about livestock, and he said that the milk data that he has speaks to livestock. I just want to add that across all the 47 counties, at least 6.1 million of livestock has been vaccinated in the period under review, county governments have expanded extension services to livestock farmers as well, reaching almost 2.5 million livestock farmers. Moving a bit faster. In the area of trade and industry, our work in counties begins with registering businesses and giving them permits. We report to Your Excellency that in this period of 4 years alone, county governments have issued over 1 million businesses with trade licenses, demonstrating growing business confidence in the country, because the 47 counties registering local businesses of 1 million actually speaks to the business environment there is. Working with the Ministry of Trade, we have 34 counties that are now developing industrial parks under the County Aggregation and Industrial Park KIPES program, which program also is a collaborative program co-funded by the two levels of government on a 50-50 basis with respect to the construction. And governors have requested, Your Excellency, that the 13 counties that have not been funded so far, I think there's 13 counties that were worried that their funding has been removed in the last budget, that funding be restated, Your Excellency, in the supplementary, because I think this program now is picking up and all the counties don't want to be left behind. But we're working also with the Trade Ministry to operationalize the ones that have been completed. And this program, Your Excellency, is probably the biggest investment in cottage industries since independence. In the area of climate change, the collaboration between the county governments and the national government is also bearing fruit. And here, Your Excellency, there is the financing locally led climate change flow action program across all the 47 counties. This has institutionalized climate governance and dedicated climate financing to the very, very local level, and its impact can be seen in terms of earth dams, in terms of incubation of agricultural farms in even places that are not traditionally crop producing areas. In the area of water, Your Excellency, the data that we have shows that the distances to save water has substantially reduced from 3.2 kilometers to 2.8 kilometers. This is largely because of investment projects such as the Kenya Water and Sanitation Investment Program, which the Ministry of Water is running with counties. Other programs include the Kenya Water Sanitation and Hygiene Program, KWASH. We also have underground water for ASALS, which is part of the Horn of Africa initiative. These, taken together with the investments that counties are putting in water, has resulted in a reduction of distances to save water. In the area of environment, Your Excellency, counties report that as many as 72.5 million trees have been planted in the last financial year alone across counties. Your Excellency, I've been asked to wind up But please allow me, I just have a few more slides. The most contentious engagement we usually have, Your Excellency, between counties and national government is during the DORA process, which is counties always asking for more money. Equitable share has increased by more than 45 billion shillings in the last 4 years, and I think that was also demonstrated by CS Mbadi. Counties' own source revenue has also tripled because the more counties get, the more they're also able to generate their own source revenue. But Your Excellency, more than the increase, I think the engagement has also become a lot more mature. Because this engagement usually begins at IBEC. And I remember, and I think my predecessor, Anne Waiguru, is probably in the room. Anne, I can see you there. Your Excellency, there's a time when during IBEC days, Anne will call me at 7:30 to call in sick. Because she was avoiding to engage with the chair of IBEC then. Now we have no attendance problems at IBEC. We're always there, and all governors attend. Because we have mature discussions under the chairmanship of His Excellency, the Deputy President. Your Excellency, moving on to the general area of intergovernmental relations, the county governments and the national governments have in place at least 42 intergovernmental partnership agreements across all devolved services. We are represented in 32 boards, task forces, and committees, where of necessity, executives at the national and county governments have to meet. And this has sustained intergovernmental engagement and has secured full annual equitable assessments during the last 2 reporting cycles. Members of Parliament may not know that we are represented in boards such as SHA, such as the affordable housing, and this speaks to the collaboration that we have with the national government. Your Excellency, in the area of urban infrastructure and development, at least 200, please move on, at least 202 kilometers of roads have been constructed within 59 municipalities. This is under programs such as Kenya Urban Support Program, KUSUP, and Kenya Informal Sector Program. There has been development of at least 171 kilometers of non-motorized transport infrastructure, provision of 5,250 parking spaces for both private and public transport, construction of 192 kilometers of stormwater drains to mitigate flooding, establishment of 31 kilometers of sewer lines to improve sanitation, creation of 12 recreational facilities, development of at least 12 fire stations in different municipalities, 16 retail markets constructed by counties, 4,533 street lights installed with an additional 81-meter high mast lighting. This is in addition to all the markets and all the street lighting programs that have been undertaken by the affordable housing program in counties. And needless to say, Your Excellency, in many of our counties today, the biggest housing estates that are visible are indeed the affordable housing program houses. In the area of roads, We continue to partner with Kura in many of our sub-counties today. We're seeing tarmac road for the first time in many, many places. In fact, nearly all the constituency headquarters today can boast of some kilometers of tarmac. And for counties, we have at least 185,000 kilometers of roads that's maintained by the county governments. These are vital to link farmers to markets, children to schools, patients to health facilities. And Your Excellency will be glad if the issue of RMLF and the legal architecture around it can be completed so that there is harmony between members of parliament and the county governments. Please move on. I can see the mere mention of it is attracting some reaction. Let's move on. I think I've spoken to that as well. Just move on. In conclusion, Your Excellency, Your Excellency, and Your Excellency, in conclusion, I want to say this. As we've been told by my party chair, Gladys Wanga, down to 2027 has begun today. And Your Excellency, I began by saying that governors usually feel a bit shy, saying that, national government has done this and that. But I've also said before that as a council, we're not the official opposition. In any case, the official opposition today is ODM, and they're here with us. I think for this 1 year as governors, it will be fair that we speak more of the collaboration that we've had with the national government and what we've achieved with respect with that collaboration, and less of what we have not gotten or what we have through real perception been denied. Nearly all the governors in ODM and UDA are pro the broad-based government. We should take advantage of that. Your Excellency, your opponents, and we don't know who your opponent is as of now, but this one will try and use devolution and the strengthening and deepening of it as a promise for post-2027 elections. As the council, we feel that this has been the most pro-devolution government or administration there has been. And Your Excellency, I'm licensed to say that because I think I'm the governor who has served longest in the leadership of council, having served as 2 years, as vice chair for 2 years, and 2 years as chair of council. And I'm sure my sister Anne will agree with me. What we need to do, Your Excellency, then, I've not spoken to ECD, but there's much that we've done in the area of education. I just want to wind up because this gentleman keeps knocking on my door. What we need to do, Your Excellency, going forward, for the politics of things, and Gladys has spoken to us, is one, to speak at the mountaintops and everywhere, but two, to reduce cannibalization into each other. As UDA and ODM, and discuss the things that are likely to divide us in boardrooms rather than in rallies. And two, also I don't see why ODM and UDA will take each other.
Let us have some order.
Let me go on.
No, everybody will have a chance.
I'm not talking about county governments and national government. I'm talking about UDA and ODM. I don't know whether ODM has taken UDA to court. I'm not aware. To Your Excellency, also, we need to reduce the so-called kingpin fights, especially in places where broad-based government has a lot of support. In fact, in those places, Your Excellency, what's likely to hurt us more is this kingpin fights than the opposition. Honorable Junet is pointing at Aaron Cheriot. Maybe I have had something else in mind. I want to end it there. And honorable members of parliament, we are not party to the CDF case. No. Please. We are not party to the CDF case. If a Kenyan enjoins us as COG, we have to send a lawyer to court. But we have no problem with CDF. We have absolutely no problem with CDF as Council of Governors. I think that debate is well behind us. Your Excellency, I want to assure you that as COG, family of broad-based, we will support you and will support this fight because I agree with you. We must come back as broad-based to power in 2027. The alternative is unimaginable. Your Excellency, some of the governors back there have a placard. They're not demonstrating. They're just reminding me of the issue of pensions. I don't want that to be the only thing that's taken out of what I said. I'll leave it at that, Your Excellency. I thank you all.
Just before Mazzayo, 1 minute, stewards, just 1 minute. Thank you. Governor has really spoken to the heart of our administration's perspective on devolution. And just so that we all understand where we are vis-a-vis devolution. Because sometimes there is a lot of propaganda and fake news. Number one, we made a deliberate decision that we are not going to engage in confrontation with our counties. We made a deliberate decision that instead we are going to be consultative, we're going to be facilitative, and we are going to work together.